Islam. Peace and love, family. I hope you had a beautiful, beautiful, happy, serious day yesterday. I know I had a happy, serious day. I learned some things on Tea with Ruth that I didn't know before. Sometimes we have a multitude of information and we just don't know how to wield that information more, so we got to get into the habit of learning how to do that, right? It's a beautiful sunny day. It's Thursday, day of Jupiter. And Moor asked me yesterday, what about unity? What about unity in the Moorish nation? Because the Moorish nation is, there is a lot of organizations, associations within the Moorish nation that are not necessarily unified. And I always say, Moors, you got a corporatized and colonized mindset, because you still think we the people don't determine the movements of our government, when we absolutely, positively determine the movements of our government. It is the people that form it, organize it, and wield power to it, not the other way around. So when I say these things specifically because if unity is what you're seeking, it is the people that is responsible to create and demand that from their organizations they associate and align themselves with. The Moorish American Consulate is the beacon light for the people. We are here because the people decided and made a decision to make it so. The people, the Moors that have nationalized and declared their nationalities, corrected their status with their ancient Moabite, Canaanites, and Hamatite ancestors, right? And all we're looking for is unity, a meeting of the minds, right? We have a multitude of scholars, a multitude of them. We got Asir Ducatiers, we got Dr. Phil Valentine, we have Counselor Court General Taj Tariq Bey, Counselor Court General Shalimar Bey, we have Rosmariah Bey, we have Anna Ida L, we have Grand Sheikhs Ramael, Grand Sheikh Cujo, we have Duafe Bey, I think I'm saying her name, the Prime Minister Duafe Bey of the particular organization that she works for as the president, which is the Moorish. I can't articulate it at the particular moment, but she was on House of Reawakening Minds last Friday, and she talked about her organization and what she's offering. In addition to that, you have who? Come on, bring me all of our scholars that are out there that are pushing Moorish nationality. There are a multitude of them. If I have not mentioned that particular organization, please add that organization, body politic of our Moorish nation that are helping uplift fallen humanity, because there are a multitude of individuals, and I can't think of their names right now. They're Moorish appellations right now, so help me. Post it. Post who you've learned your ancestry from. Post who helped you come to that realization, because Moors, you were born Moors. Can't nobody grant it, disprove it, deny it. You're born that way, family. And it's time that you wield that power that you have within. Right? We gotta hold them accountable. So I asked you, Moors, why haven't we, as the people of this nation, held them accountable? By telling them we want unity within all of these organizations that are here and whose primary oath is to uplift fallen humanity. We got our brothers and sisters at the Mexican border going through a multitude of trials and tribulations, and have been going through those multitudes of trials and tribulations for many, many years. many, many years. I just saw an article that talked about a mass grave that was found in Texas, corporate state, of illegal, so-called illegal immigrants that came over through the borders of the U.S.A. And we should be outraged about that, because the reality is we are still looking for unity within our Moorish nation, and that's not something that we should be looking for right now. We should be doing our duty, doing what was charged for us to do by Prophet Nobutu Ali, and that's uplifting fallen humanity. So I commend, USAR, I forgot to mention USAR, because these are all organizations, body politics, Moorish organizations that have accepted the charge of uplifting fallen humanity, and that's teaching the Moors how to be themselves, correcting their status, and nationalizing, and helping and assisting in furthering that charge within their own families, within their own communities. That nationality is the order of the day, right? So my question to Moors is, why aren't we as the people requiring that all of those Moorish organizations that I just specified, unifying, tell them you want a meeting of the minds on a monthly basis to air out grievances, streamline processes, and assist in uplifting fallen humanity, but most important, well, second to that, and to require the upholding of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, as well as the United States, as well as the Constitution for the United States of America, 1791. So I implore you, Moors, to hold them accountable, hold us accountable. I have aligned myself with the Moorish American consulate because out of all of what I've seen for the 3+ years that I have proclaimed and declared my nationality, I have been seeing the disunity, seeing the schisms, meaning our people aligning themselves with different individuals based on minor, very, very minor grievances within each other. At the end of the day, our job is to uplift fallen humanity and hold the corporate state responsible for the duties it has to the people. Look, I got something going on right there. Answer me that question, man. If you want unity, the people are the ones that have to demand it. I demand it. You demand it. We all demand unity. That means asking, well, why haven't you all can't come to the table on a monthly basis, town hall meeting, whatever you want to call it, to air out differences, to strategize and create this unity. The Iraq was very, watch Grand Sheikh Ramael's video that he did yesterday on our day of happy, our serious day. Watch the video that he talked about. That video talked about the history behind 1776 and July 4th. He talked about it. He talked about what we were dealing with as the sovereigns of the land. What we were dealing with. Why we were even able to be colonized. Schisms. Aligning ourselves with our enemies as opposed to with our family. Violating chapter 25 of the Circle 7 Quran. Violating each other in favor of allegiances that should never have came before brothers and sisters. So I commend you, Moors, to do that. We're open, we're willing to talk to anybody who's willing to talk to us, so we can do what it is that we are supposed to be doing as Moors, being active and not passive, holding the corporate state responsible for everything that has been done on our land, paying us back for every resource, whether it mined, erected, any resource, paying us back for that, because they owe us. But we gotta stop fighting as a nation, each other. Well, we got bigger fish to fry. because we got bigger fish to fry. So I'm for you. Do the job as we the people are supposed to do, and hold those we put in positions of power, positions of authority, those who we give delegation of authority, sovereignty to. Hold them accountable for why there is no unity, why everybody's doing their own damn thing, why people are withholding information for fiat, for association, and why there are no corporate states or foreign occupiers being held accountable for the violations that we see every day on this social platform. Why many of our people are in POW camps. Why we're not holding them accountable. So we need to hold everybody accountable, and we need to hold our people specifically accountable to 777, chapter 25. And do you remember what that chapter talks about? It talks about assisting your brothers and sisters when they are in need, when they need assistance. So we got brothers and sisters all over the world need assistance, and we sit here fighting over how to nationalize our family members and how they need to be associated within the Moorish nation. I don't think that's the biggest issue that we have. Nationality is the biggest issue. And you can do that with or without us. You don't need us for that. It is your birthright. It is your right as a Moroccan. It's your right as a Canaanite. It's your right as a Hamatite. It's your right as a Canaan. Did I say Canaanite? Hamatite? And the Moabite. It is your right. By birth and blood. Most importantly, by birth. It is your mother who determines the sentencing. And your mother only. Because you came from her. That's where you came from. You didn't materialize in a microwave. You didn't get shot down here through a I was just thinking about something else, y'all. I'm sorry. But yeah. Most of our people, you can tell, show them as we as well. And they are stuck on saying, oh, well, that was then because we like our party. Well, they don't like their party all they want, but nationality is the order of the day. And everybody's going to have to strap up their boots and do some work. They're going to have to do it. They're going to have to do the very basic, and that's claim their nationality. That's going to be required of all of our people, as well as foreigners, because there's no such thing as a white nation. Or white people, for that matter. There are white citizens, which is a status, right? There's no black people or black nations. There is a black status, and we got to hold them accountable. And the way we hold them accountable is not allowing them to first of all, denationalize you by calling you black, because they're ignorant and they're okay with the mass genocide going on with our people. They're going to be forced to make changes. But keep in mind, Prophet Noble Jew Ali said what? What did he say? He said, it's going to be some new Moors coming into this nation and in this movement. And they're going to sit you old Moors in the back and carry out the laws. Because our people are hurting and are fighting and are dying because too many old Moors don't want to carry out the law and want to circumvent the active new Moors who are absolutely doing exactly that. So hold them accountable, family. Hold your leaders accountable. And the reality is, Moors are not led. They're not led. We are supposed to be knowledgeable in this information on our own right. We're supposed to know the laws. We're supposed to know our history, our heritage, our culture. We're supposed to know our nationality. We're supposed to know these things. And those that don't know are supposed to be taught and educated and gain knowledge from those that do know. And they shouldn't be asking for something that is unlawful to acquire it, because the reality is this, family. In the Northeast, Moorish American Consulate group on Facebook. The name correction declaration is there, 2 pages. The 7-page judicial proclamation is also there. The instructions are also there. You don't need me. You don't need anybody to proclaim and declare your Moorish nationality. You do not need to align yourself with anyone, because as I say, you are a Moor by your birthright, a Moor by your ancestry. It is your right, like I said, and nobody can deny it, and nobody can take it away from you, because your mother gave it to you when she birthed you into this manifestation. So, if you have not declared and proclaimed your Moorish nationality, go to the Moorish American Consulate Northeast group, download those 2 forms I specified, as well as the instructions, fill out your documents, and decide where you want to send it. I listed a multitude of people. You can send it to whoever you want, or send it to no one and just sign it yourself. You don't have to do that. I don't suggest that, but you know, we got to do some work. We got to build, rebuild, reestablish, reconnect to our government, which is our Moorish government. And it is our duty and our responsibility to do that. And if we have areas lacking clarity, it is our due diligence to find that clarity and not hold any individual to such a high status where you end up sitting in a pulpit being preached to. Gain the knowledge for self, so you don't even really have to wonder. And the Moorish American Consulate helps in recording as well as sealing your documents. So if you ever get kidnapped by the corporate state, have any other issues, and we're working on the judiciary, and we're working on how to file a claim within the Moorish Consulate, because we do have judges, and they have been filed, and we do adjudicate, because we are Article 3, and the only Article 3 right now on land. So, Moors, you gotta learn how to, first of all, know who's violating it. You gotta know how to do that. You gotta know who is injuring you, not what corporation they work for, but who is the natural being sending another natural being out to violate you. It is your duty to know who that is, and it's your duty to tell us so we can assist you, because we can't assist you when you talk about, oh, Walmart came to my house and took my TV. Well, okay, well, who works for Walmart? What did they give you? Did they talk to you before they came? Did they give you due process? And I'll be more specific. We have to know. We have to do the research. We have to know who works for the companies. We should always know this. And this is the funny thing, and this is one of those things that I kind of want to appeal you, and I say this for myself too. If you work at a corporation, do you know who the president and the vice president of that organization is?
No boring station.
I can have a guess who mine is. I ain't going for it. I don't even know. And that is part of what I'm saying. So if you have an issue within any organization, you need to know who is in charge. So who's ultimately responsible for any violation or injury that is that's inflicted upon you. Right? So if somebody that was working for the U.S.A. corporation injured you, who's the president of that corporation? That's Donald Trump currently. He's the president of that corporation, and he's the individual you would contact when you were injured by any of his enclaves, any of his franchises, any of his employees. That's how you find out. But we can't keep sitting here. In addition, this is a notice for when people get kidnapped by the corporate state. When Moors get kidnapped by the corporate state, because if they have not declared and proclaimed their nationality, and this is another piece that our family needs to know. If your family is contacting us and they're in ward status because they haven't proclaimed and declared their nationality, and if you're not going to send verification to the Moorish American Consulate, somebody needs to know that's what you did. Somebody needs to know there is documentation verifying your status correction. Somebody needs to know. Somebody needs to have that outside of just you, the declared Moor. Because if something happens to you and you are kidnapped, detained by the Surface Corporation, we need to know that you have proclaimed and declared your status correction. And we know that you're telling them, oh, I'm a Moor. We already know that. We don't even need to be
next stop, 16.
We don't even need to figure that out. It is part of judicial process. It is part of due process, because we send that information along with the extraction document. But you need to know who kidnapped you. And here's who's kidnapping you. The magistrate of the fraudulent district courts within all of these municipalities are giving the order through a citation, through a warrant issued for the booty and the prize. They are the ones issuing the order for those policy enforcers or so-called sheriffs, because if the sheriffs is effectuating their orders, they're not sheriffs because they're violating their oaths. Especially if the Moors say, oh, I'm a Moorish American. They say I'm a Moorish American and they still get detained and they haven't harmed or injured anybody. They're outside of their scope of delegation of authority. So I say this to say, when your family members get kidnapped by the corporate state, they are getting kidnapped by a particular so-called magistrate of a so-called corporate jurisdiction. And that is the person we need to know. We need to know who that is. So when you are getting detained, it is your due diligence to say, what magistrate issued you an order to detain me? Because it was a fraudulent order, because I do not belong to your corporate state. That's what you say. And if you do get detained and you're not on social media, whereas though you can just let us know, you need to contact your family member and have that particular information. And when you get kidnapped, they are kidnapping you and using your straw man name / corporate name / birth name. That's what you need to do. So if you can't get any information at all, you can go right on their little corporate website and find out by putting their corporate name in there. And then you'll be able to run a report where it's going to tell you exactly which foreign corporation has illegally and unlawfully detained and kidnapped that Moorish American national. And that's how you give us information. Because as soon as we get that information, and as soon as we can verify nationality, that document is going out to that magistrate and the sheriff that's domiciled and operating within that corporate district. That's how you give us information. But here's the thing, Moors. In order to circumvent some of this and have a lot more quicker response, if we already have your documentation verifying your Moorish American status and correction, we don't need that information to be sent to us by whatever organization that you might have done it with, whether it be the temples, whether it be USAR, whether it be through the documentation and through the sealing of Army-based publications, whether it be through whether it be through any particular Moorish nation operating on this land. We give MAC registrations for all Moors, no matter who you nationalize.
A wheelchair accessible station.
Through documentation, paperwork, whoever you've done paperwork with. Because you are who you are. And you are who you say you are. And nobody can take that away from you unless who you claim to be is not who you actually are. So I'm Moors. So I'm not saying enough.
Welcome aboard Market 55.
But at the end of the day,
for an all-stop train to the Frankfurt Transportation Center. It is currently 9:02. Thanks for riding. Have a great day.
But at the end of the day, if you want unity, people, it is the people who require it. So manifest that, babies, and you'll have it in your nation, in our nation. Because that's all I'm doing is manifesting the things that I need our people to get. And unity is part of that. And I also need you to watch that broadcast from Ramayel, where it talks about the history. It talks about the history of 1776, July the 4th specifically, and why we in the position we in. It's this very schism thing is why we're in it. Aligning ourselves with the foreigners, aligning ourselves with people outside our family, and this is why we were denationalized. This is why we don't know who the freak we are today, because our enemies, what's the word, took advantage of that situation, and this is why we are in this situation. So watch the broadcast Ramayel did yesterday on the true meaning of the 4th of July, 1776, and why we were not able to defend ourselves on our homeland, because we created so much division within our own families, and we caused our very own denationalized status. Islam, peace, and love. I wish you a happy Jupiter Day, and I love you. And peace and love. And here's peace and love in Latin. Pax et amore. Pax et amore. So pax et amore is peace and love in Latin. And that's P-A-X. Peace, pax, et, and, that's E-T, amore. That's love. Peace and love. And amore is A-M-A-R-E. I'm about to go in the tunnel, so peace and love. Pax et amore. Pax et amore. I'm going to get used to that. Saying that word. Pax et amore.